The Raiders need to sign the female zookeeper from Madagascar 3. Elite short area quickness and ball carrier vision. Then trade Genty to the Jets for a 1. Jets will accept this because they are a poverty franchise. Whoa!
Yeah, well, I got something to say to you. If you're a fan of about 28 of the NFL franchises, you can call the Jets poverty. You like the Rams, you like the Seahawks. This is like being a homeless man on the sidewalk and walking by another homeless person and going, broke ass.
I lost my job too. Man, you are one pathetic loser.
You don't get to do that.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor Sikkema, Connor Rogers here with you guys for another Fix Your Franchise episode. Today, we're talking about the Arizona Cardinals. Connor, this is going to be a fun one. We get to look at a lot of things. Well, it's not going to be fun if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan. Although maybe it will be. Maybe it will be.
Maybe you need this.
We're bringing joy. We're the hopium dealers around here. That's what we're distributing here. We're going to talk about a lot of things here on the show. We're going to talk about draft history, the current standing of Jonathan Gannon and his coaching staff, the current standing of Kyler Murray, trying to get, seeing if it makes sense to get a Kyler Murray trade in here, looking at the rest of the roster. We're going to come up with a free agency strategy. And of course, wrap things up with a little 3-round mock draft. Dude, I knew that was going to be the cold open. It had to be from last show. That was the golden moment from last week. But how you doing, my friend?
Man, what did they say? If you build it, they will come. Or,
yes.
Or what? Yeah. Well, that was me cold open farming at its absolute finest. And all I do is hand the little crop seeds to our producer Tyler Cook, and he makes a full garden of content with it. It's just I didn't even think of the Dumb and Dumber reference or anything like that. So it's just unbelievable, man. I'm good. This is another interesting one because here's another team where it's not that expectations were through the roof, but they were definitely higher than this. The start was looking okay, and they're spiraling out of control a little bit. And they've also just lost so many close games. Like every close game, it feels like. It doesn't matter if they're playing a bad team or a good team. They're in a close game. So I'm fascinated to go through this exercise today for sure.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a fun one. And it's not, for Cardinals fans, I know it's very frustrating. It's not all gloom and doom, right? I mean, like there are people who are picking the Cardinals to make the playoffs this year. And I think that
definitely
there's pieces on their roster. It's just, are they quite there yet? Do they have the right leadership? We're going to talk about the front office. We're going to talk about the coaching staff.
Spend some
we're
money.
Going to talk about, what'd you say?
So they spent some money?
They did spend some money. Yeah. I mean, like a lot of the additions that they had on the defense are fantastic. And obviously, like we will get into all of that stuff as we get this underway. Let's hit the super chats, the early super chats, because we've already got a bunch of super chats here from those of you guys who joined the show early. By the way, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I know some of you guys, listen afterwards and you don't get to catch it live. If you happen to be able to catch it live, we normally open up the show like 15 minutes early. So we go live at 4:30. I know that the chat always loves to yell at us that we're late, but we normally go live right at 4:30. However, we open it up at like 4:15 and we let the addicts get to say hello, good afternoon, talk shit about us. It's a good time. It's a great time. We love it. It's great.
We're late.
Connor and I get in there, and it's always something that puts a smile on our face. We always love that good stuff. Okay, let's knock out a couple of super chats before we get into our Arizona Cardinals rebuild here. Sean Marthis saying, "Hey, little squirts."
Already owned.
Any chance that we can get a Fix Your Franchise for the Vikings? If I have to watch 9 shipwreck this team in 2026, my head's going to colorful word
effing pop off.
$10 super chat. We appreciate it.
Did you see the streets are calling him 9 to 5?
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw it. I didn't come up with it, and I won't run with it. I'm just relaying what I've witnessed from the streets.
I'm not going to run with it.
No.
You guys can run with it. You guys can run a marathon with it as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not going to.
You can sail across the Atlantic with it if you want. I'm just not going to participate in that kind of chicanery.
Unfortunately, That is a good one. We got to give it. We got to give it to the
To the
haters.
streets.
The haters.
It's a win
The
for the
haters were correct
streets.
on that one. Look, you're not the only one who's asking for a Vikings fix your franchise. In fact, like you might not be the only super chat asking for a Vikings fix your franchise. We might actually have to get to Minnesota because there's a lot of Vikings fans who watch this show who might want to make that happen. So could be coming down the pipeline here.
Yeah, the problem and why they are a perfect fix your candidate in an odd way is the Vikings are built in many ways to win right now.
Yeah.
And they don't have the quarterback play to win right now. So it would be kind of a fun exercise for me and you to deal with a roster that is pretty close with a really good coaching staff. So maybe we will get into that. Jeremy Cantor, thank you for the super chat. What are your opinions of the Packers at the moment? And Matt LaFleur, do you think they are contenders? Love you guys and F Big Tucks. They are built. That's really good. I passed that too quickly. Thank you, Jeremy. You get the show.
Throwing the going after big tucks in there, it'll always get me.
The Packers are built to be a Super Bowl contender. They have not played week after week like a Super Bowl. They oddly play down to everybody. They lost to the Browns. They easily could have lost the Jameis Giants. They did take care of their business against the Vikings, so credit to them for that. Micah was amazing. They made the Micah trade to put them over the top and a contend for a Super Bowl this year. They just haven't had, I think, the consistency on offense. Their pass game is a lot of like big play down the field or run game or nothing. There's not really like a lot of rhythm and flow with their offense all the time. And defensively, I'm really impressed with their front. They've had some lapses at cornerback for sure, but they're a really strong defensive team. I don't know, Trevor. They're, like I said, they're built to be a contender, but they have not played like a true contender to me in a loaded NFC yet.
Dude, I like the Packers. I think the Packers are fine. I think the league is kind of wide open this year, to be honest with you. I mean, there's some teams that are at the very top of the AFC that you feel pretty good about. Obviously, the Rams are an absolute juggernaut. But I think that it's open for a lot of these teams. The Packers are incredibly talented. I think there's certainly a chance that they get hot down the stretch. I'm not really worried about the Packers right now. And I'm a Matt LaFleur guy. I like Matt LaFleur. I think the record speaks for itself. If the Packers fired Matt LaFleur, he'd be the number one candidate for every single coaching job that's open. And I think whenever that's the case,
it's probably the Giants coach in 24 hours.
That's what I'm saying. And so like when we do these fixture franchises, some people bring up names like that. And it's like those those coaches are the ones that you probably should not get rid of if other teams are begging to have them. Zachy, $5 super chat. Happy Monday, boys. Happy Monday to you, Zachy. Yesterday's Pats game activated my masculine urge to say we're so back 20 minutes after saying it's
nicely done, Zachy.
That's the ride. That's the ride that you take during the season. So it's all good, but they got the win over the Bengals, which I think was most important here.
MJ Howdick 1559. Tough week for Luke Goatmeyer and JJ9 McCarthy in the great state of Wisconsin. That's it. You're absolutely right, MJ. I called them both goober on their way out of the stadium, and I hope they never recover. #9 is their QBR.
Wow. I won't take the Goatmeyer slander.
That man got his $10 worth.
Yeah, 100%.
He said, I have $10 and I'm chewing gum. And I'm all out of the gum. So here's my $10 super chat where I'm getting in every last bit of shit talk I got.
Yeah, look, it's not great for the Vikings. I think we'll have a deeper conversation about JJ McCarthy at some point, whether we fix the Minnesota Vikings or not. Hunter with a $5 super chat said, might have to wait a little while to pimp the Browns, see if Shedeur can be anything. In fact, you are right, Hunter. The Browns were on the table for one of the teams that we were going to have for Fix Your Franchise on this very Monday. But because their massive win over the Las Vegas Raiders, we can't do that yet. We just can't do it.
The chat is very funny on Sundays between me, you, and Tyler deciding who the fix to pimp your franchise is going to be. Because it's like we're like all talking on one team. They're like, oh no, they're back.
Just full transparency, as we love to say here on the show. We were going to do the Cowboys. Cowboys go down 3 scores. 3 possessions for the Eagles. It's 21-0 early. We were like, boom, let's start writing the notes now. Cowboys tomorrow. Let's do it. And they have an incredible comeback. Shout out to Brian Schottenheimer, who I was wondering if he was just like some outside the box pick for head coach because Jerry was trying to outsmart everybody. But man, I'm not going to lie. The way that they have handled the Marshawn Nealon situation, the way that they have come together as a team, the way that they have represented him and his memory, just how they have took such a tragic situation and made it for a motivation for togetherness and family and letting good come out of it and just coming together like in football and beyond football. Like, I don't know if you saw the clip of the Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer after this Eagles win, but man, that sure looks like the right man for the job. And we talk about this all the time here on this show. When we suggest coaching candidates for these teams, yeah, a lot of times the guys who are going to get the interviews are play callers, and they're great with how they're scheming up guys on a certain side of the ball. They're calling plays. Like when you're a head coach, you got to be a leader. It's the most important quality you could possibly have. You're a CEO. You're managing people. And Brian Schottenheimer, good offensive mind, but man, I mean, he seems like a leader of men, and I just kudos to how he has brought those guys together. And the Cowboys are shaping up to have a fun end of the season.
I echo everything you said, Trevor. I've been really impressed with Shotty. He's come such a long way throughout his coaching career, and there's no denying Jerry's on a heater right now. The George Pickens and Quinnen Williams trades look phenomenal.
They do.
The Shotty hire was kind of, laughed off at the time, and Dak is playing some of the best football of his career behind an offensive line that I am pretty impressed with week after week. Kyle Culp, thank you for the $5 super chat. Kyler throws the ball like he's trying to get a 360 no scope final kill cam. Sometimes he does.
I get it.
Have we gone too far with Kyler the other way now?
No. I wasn't about to defend that. What I was about to say was I've never gotten a 360 no scope kill because I don't even know where to begin. I watched some of these TikToks, and before the TikToks, YouTube video clips, whatever, of these dudes who are doing like the full controller sensitivity 360 no scope. Brother, I don't even know where to begin. How do you hit these shots? And for like one guy in the world to hit a shot like that, I'd be like, all right, 1 in a billion shot. There's so many of these videos. How are you guys doing this? You know what? They're cheating.
It's a setup. It's a setup with their buddies to go viral. They're farming. They're engagement farming.
They are.
And as someone who's participated in the exercise, not proudly, I know what you're doing.
No. Your chest is fully out.
I love it.
With that.
I'm already thinking of my next act.
Dude, you've got a toothpick in your mouth. You got the cowboy hat on. You're ready to farm, brother.
Yep.
Preston, $10 super chat. He said, you guys' advice on how to break into the industry from a couple of weeks ago inspired me to start making sports content. I appreciate y'all a ton. And I guess I'm now a fellow draft content creator. Well, we absolutely love that, Preston. We love to hear from you. And we meant it. We meant what we said there. Do what you really love to do. We would love to. This is a great community. The Addicts are a great community. Anybody out there who's doing draft work, whether it's, again, mock drafts, written content, podcasts, salary cap evaluation, you make your own contracts like Cam did, when he reached out to us a couple of weeks ago or whenever that was. Like, we just love to see the passion, man. That's the coolest part of getting to interact with you guys. The passion that y'all have for your teams, for the NFL draft, all that great stuff. So, Preston, we are happy that you have a place to express your passion. And that's awesome, man. We love it.
Man. Go kill it, and good luck. It's Wes09. Thank you for the super chat. Longtime lurker. Love the pod. We need to fix your franchise for our Bucks. I'm almost out on Bowles. His style is outdated. And I'm also worried we're a 10-win team with a lot of holes next year on defense.
Yep.
What do you think, Trev?
Laundry list of injuries, man. I hate to make excuses, but at different points in this year, they have missed Mike Evans, Tristan Wirfs, Luke Gedeke, Cody Mock, Chris Godwin, Jamel Dean, Hassan Reddick, Elijah Cansey,
Bucky,
Ben Bredesen, Bucky Irving, Jalen McMillan. And now Baker, and now Baker is hurt. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Those are basically your best players.
You can't.
What are you going to do with that? That's basically everybody on the list that you built your team around, other than Vita Vea and Antoine Winfield Jr. And now Mika Buka. So I don't know. We'll see. They've got a lot of ball game left. A lot of ball game left here. Daniel Sauter, $20 super chat. We appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you. You're always in on the chat. We love going back and forth with you. We appreciate you getting in and giving us a super chat here. He says, "Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving, Trevor and Connor. Of all my fellow sex addicts, especially Peter for keeping the lights on. Trevor and Connor, would you prefer the NFL had free agency after the draft? How would that impact team building?"
This sport gets brought up, once in a while.
Do I want free agency after the draft?
I have heard there's coaches that really want this.
I think it would be better. Now, it would be less entertaining.
That's exactly right.
But
That's exactly right.
It would be better because everybody would want to see what their draft is and then build around the draft.
It's a way better system, but it is. You are 100% right. It is not as entertaining.
Yeah,
because free agency is extremely chaotic because of how tight of a window it is and how close it is to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So maybe in the next CBA it gets brought up. But I could tell you the NFLPA will need something really big in return because the NFLPA keeps agreeing to more games because it's more money, which is great. You got to give these guys more money it's a whole nother conversation. But what are you giving them in return for putting free agency after the draft that's going to cost free agents money? It's going to hurt more markets than help markets.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were going to pay Dan Moore $1 billion, but hey, we actually got a tackle we like. So Dan Moore's market now is a little smaller. Like the NFLPA is not going to love that.
Right.
So
right.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think it's a really good point. I think it's a really great point.
Very difficult negotiation, and that's why this hasn't happened.
Birdman, $5 super chat. I love being an addict. Well, we love having you here, Birdman. We appreciate it. I'm just kind of rapid firing a couple of these.
Yeah, fire away, and then we'll get to the
$5 super chat said, I usually joke, but I do have a question. Just how many of the quarterbacks that aren't seniors will come out? Levitt, Sellers, Simpson, Moore, Mensah. I think of that group, it's a fantastic question, and we'll talk about this a ton throughout the draft process. I don't think it's a guarantee that any of them come out. I genuinely believe that Simpson's
let me ask
not
you
even
something.
a guarantee. Yeah.
Do you think the winds are starting to blow a different way from Moore?
Like that we thought he was going to come back and now he's not?
We've been operating the whole time that he's coming back, and you have to ask yourself at some point if Simpson really needs another year starting and Moore is getting, because of his talent, these top 10 grades. Is he just like, okay?
Yeah, I think anytime you get a first round grade, if you're any player at all, you probably lean towards leaving.
There's just too much variance that can go wrong.
Right.
I
mean, look at Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Right?
Look at Drew Aller.
Drew Aller
actually hurt his stock this year. He would have went at the end of the first or the second round last year.
So did Garrett Nussmeier. I think
both
of those
Nussmeier's
players.
Yeah, man. Nussmeier, it's yes. So I'm not closing the door on Dante Moore. The rest of the guys, though, like Levitt, Sellers, and Mensah, I will be floored if any of them come out.
Birdman again gave us a $5 super chat. Said, "I'm a teacher, and this is the best way to start Thanksgiving break." Hell yeah, we love
welcome
that.
to your break. Enjoy.
Yeah, early happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, by the way. And
yeah.
all right, let's hey Harbaugh, our boy. Story based on the cold open said, I wore a Brady Quinn jersey in Pittsburgh, and a homeless man said that I wouldn't even wear that if it saved me from the cold.
W homeless man.
W homeless man.
That is it's a loyal sports town, man. They love their teams. They're not going to waver, even if it means being a little more chilly. Wow. That's a good one, Harbs.
That's a good one to dive in.
Yeah.
To the Arizona Cardinals here. As we are fixing this team, we see the rest of the super chats, guys. We're going to try to get to as many as possible. But we do got a lot to get through here for the Cardinals. Their record currently this season. Sitting at 3-8, really disappointing 3-8 for them, especially given the fact that they started this season 2-0. They were 2-0, right? I remember that correctly. I think.
Yeah,
fact check
2-0 and then 3-2, I believe.
Yeah, and then it's just
we're
been
off to a hot start.
It's been downhill ever since. So you look at last year. Decent finish last year, 8-9. Felt like they were close, right? And the defensive side of the football, I think they looked at a lot of their defense and they said, we're just not talented enough, right? We don't have the talent on the defensive line. We don't have the pass rushers. We don't have the difference-making cornerbacks. Like, that's a big issue for us right now. We need that CB1 type of a player. There were all sorts of defensive issues, which they addressed big time. I mean, in the draft, they drafted Walter Nolan. They signed Josh Sweat. They drafted Will Johnson. Like, they addressed defense heavy this offseason to get better in that area, and the results just have not been there. If you go back a little bit further, Gannon's first year, they went 4-13, which it is what it is. You're coming off the Kingsbury years, and Kingsbury went an equal 4-13 in his final year. And then the 2021 year, that was their playoff year, right? That was when Kyler Murray had that MVP caliber season back in 2021. It felt like everything was going in the right direction. And then, like I said, now you guys see what's on the board there: 4-13, 4-13, 8-9. And then going in the wrong direction. I think that when progress isn't linear, that's always something that's tough to sell the fan base. Cardinals record in 1-score games in 2024 and 2025. By the way, I think this is why you're getting some apathy and some frustration for the current coaching staff. They're 2-6 in 2025 in 1-score games, and they were 3-5 in 1-score games in 2024. This is another big one, Connor. Record versus teams with winning records in 2024 and 2025. They are 3-15 of the last 2 years.
That speaks volumes. And
I think either one of them or two of those wins were against divisional opponents, which you don't like. I'm not saying that those don't count, but divisional games are often like coin flip. I don't want to say coin. You know the opponent so well. Right. Anything can happen in a divisional game. The 4th place team in a division can beat the 1st place team in a division just because you know the team so well because you play them twice a year, year in and year out. So again, I don't mean to take any of those wins away from them, but even with that being the case, 3-15 against teams with winning records over the last 2 years, that's just straight up not good enough. That's not good enough coaching. That's not good enough execution, and especially with the roster the way that it was constructed right now with the Cardinals. As we take a look at some of the offensive grade that we have here for them, 22nd overall in overall offensive grade. They're 12th in passing grade, actually, because Jacoby Brissett has been pretty decent since Kyler Murray has been out with his injury. Rushing grade's 20th. Now, it hurts that James Conner and Trey Benson have been hurt all year, but I think the offensive line also goes into that, and you see that with the grades now on the screen. They're 60.9 pass blocking grade this season. That's 24th in the NFL. 52.1. That's 26th in the NFL. That's just, I think the offensive line is a major issue for this team. And I don't think they had the ability to fix absolutely everything last offseason, but not hitting O-line additions at all until round 6 of the draft last year was, it's coming back to bite them, I think, in a major way this year. But I feel like I've done a lot of talking already. Connor, you're doing any thoughts on what we've kind of talked about there with the Cardinals? No, it's a really good opening summary, right? This is a team that they're already victims of being in a division that, arguably this has the most powerhouse coaching top to bottom of any division. Obviously, the AFC West is in this conversation as well. But when you factor in that Sean McVay is arguably the best coach in the NFL, you have Kyle Shanahan, who is one of the best coaches in the NFL. And now Mike McDonald has entered the scene with an amazing staff and has the Seahawks rolling. It's already an uphill battle that you're in a situation where, like, hey, being mediocre in this division earns you last place right now, right? And that's not an excuse, right? But it goes to show you how buttoned up you have to be and how small the room for error is. And with the Cardinals right now, you mentioned their record against winning teams, Trevor, which speaks volumes of where they are. The kind of reverse now in close games this year. And the fact that, and this will be our conversation more about the roster than the state of the team. Mm-hmm. But where are the needle movers on this roster, right? I mean, seriously, where are the stars that are gonna take over a game? I know they drafted Marvin Harrison to be that, right? Mm-hmm. And he's had a weird year because when he play, it feels like Kyler has held him back at times, and then he's also had injury. He has appendicitis right now. I don't think he's a star. I think he's on his way to becoming one. I don't think he has been one yet. Yes, but I think your point stands. Like we'll go over the roster a little bit more, but I think on the offensive side, the point stands. And the whole point here is that you would hope that Kyler elevates players to that level. Yeah, and that's very fair. I think it's been the opposite. Kyler hasn't been the worst quarterback in the world, but you've needed him to be more than he has been. Like I said, that 2021 season, he was playing at an MVP level. And then was it 2022 that he tore his ACL? I think. And it wasn't really late in the year where it bled into 2023. Which is why the record for Gannon in his first year in 2023 it made sense. They were like, okay, well, we don't have Kyler, like he's hurt, like it's all good. And then last year I was like, okay, Kyler's back. They're going to bounce back. And they were very hot and cold. And I think this year was the year for him to really say, if the MVP version of Kyler is going to come back, this is the year. And it wasn't. Even before the injury, that's not how he was playing. And so now you get in a situation where we'll talk about a potential Kyler trade in a little bit, but Adam Schefter tweeted around the deadline and when he was sort of on IR, not on IR, like what are they going to do with him? That it felt like they're heading towards a split between these two parties. I think just going to your point, you hope that you have a quarterback that can elevate these guys who have star potential into those star roles, and I just don't think it's happened with Kyler.
No, it hasn't. I mean, there's an argument, maybe a pretty easy one this year, that he's the worst quarterback in the division, right? I mean, when Brock Purdy's healthy, I take Brock Purdy over Kyler. The current version of Sam Darnold this year is better than Kyler. It is.
Yeah,
not Kyler at his best, but right now. And then the other quarterback in this division is going to win the NFL MVP in Matthew Stafford. So that's like you're stacking that, right? We're trying to stack the deck here, Trevor, of all the problems. Well, and there's a larger combo about Gannon, who I don't think is horrible, but Gannon is the worst coach in this division by his own tier, because you're up naturally against Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDonald. Okay. What about quarterback? Kyler Murray is the worst quarterback in this division. So you're already almost by your own tier, significantly lower in the coaching and quarterback department. Well, how are we going to make up for that? We better have an elite defense, right? Mm-hmm. We have to have an elite defense. We need to have elite playmakers. We need to be physical. We need game changers, which we're going to have to talk about. It's crazy, but we're going to have to talk about the Will Anderson trade at some point of this show. Like, they got this boatload of picks, but Will Anderson looks like one of the best defensive players in the league. What have they done to round out the roster with the picks?
Well, they have Paris was one of the picks, right? Yep. So what was the other ones? I can't remember.
Well, I have the trade up of what they got, and then I'm sure there's a lot of movement.
Yeah. Because we have the draft history. We have a draft history slide up here.
So they got that year. It was a swap going back to 12.
Yep.
And then they got the 33rd overall pick. So they must have moved that pick again. And then they got a future first the following year, which I believe was the Darius Robinson pick the following year.
Yes.
So Darius Robinson was the other first rounder they got.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, like he's getting better against the run, but he's not playing anywhere near a first round caliber player.
No. And did you like Robinson?
No,
I can't remember.
Not for that price.
I didn't either. Yeah. I didn't consider him a first round pick. And you and I watched him at the Senior Bowl and we were like, okay,
that's where he blew up.
I know. It was like, okay, we got some man amongst boys reps at the Senior Bowl for sure.
Yeah. Totally has the size, and people liked that he played inside and outside.
But not at Missouri, he didn't. Because he was a defensive tackle who lost a little bit of weight, and they put him on the edge, and he's not an edge rusher.
Right.
So you get Paris Johnson Jr., you trade back. I think they must have traded back and still got B.J. Ojulari because they had Ojulari in that 2023 class. It was either it must have been, man, now I totally forgot about they were the Will Anderson trade, so I don't have the info up on where they were picking previously.
So I had Darius as the 63rd overall prospect in that draft.
Yeah, it was probably around that mark.
Yeah, and you and I were doing this together at the time. I want to make sure okay, so the exact terms of the trade, just to revisit this for everybody, was in the moment.
Yeah.
The Texans came up to 3rd overall and took Will Anderson, and the Cardinals went back to 12. Then
which hold on here. At the time, they were going to take an offensive tackle. So I want to be
right.
I
get that. I'm just saying.
I want to be fair to Monty here, because I think
this is hindsight.
No, I know. I know what you're doing, but I think I read that a lot of people are like lumping in Monty Ossenfort with Jonathan Gannon. I like what Monty has done. I like what Monty, unless I'm totally missing
No,
something.
these aren't egregious drafts. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, I think that this is good. I like the trade at the time because they were going to draft Paris Johnson Jr. at number 3 overall, and they knew that they could get extra value for it. So they trade back to 12, and then they trade back up to 6 to go get the guy that they would have drafted at number 3. That's why, if you look on the screen when it shows our draft grades, that's why I gave this an A+, because I loved this draft. You picked the player that you would have picked at number 3 at number 6, and instead you got an extra first-round pick out of it. That is excellent. Obviously, like BJ Ojulari, he's your boy. I think he is pretty decent when he is healthy. He's just
no injury luck.
Garrett Williams, I think he is a good slot player. Well, I think he is a decent slot player. I think that he could be decent in the secondary rotation moving forward. I don't think
he's bad at all.
Everybody knows that I'm a big Michael Wilson guy. And so, like, getting Michael Wilson where they did, those first 4 picks in this draft, excellent. I liked Keitrell Clark as a late-round pick as well. I liked Owen Papo as a depth linebacker as well. I liked this draft a ton from the Cardinals. And then if you keep going to 2024, I'm just doing this for the Monty Ossenfort part of the exercise. If you look at this 2024 class, you picked Marvin Harrison Jr. because you needed him, and you picked him at number 4 because, let's be honest, like, that was kind of the pick to make. That was that was a stacked wide receiver class. So who else was in that wide receiver class in 2020?
Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors was in that class.
Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas.
Roma Dunze, Brian Thomas.
Lad McConkey, Keon Coleman.
I think I had Neighbors. Did I have Neighbors above Marvin Harrison Jr.? Now I got to look. To see. Let's see. 2024 scouting sheets. Because you loved Marv. I think Marv was your number 1 overall player in that class, right?
I think he was.
So,
yeah, I love Marv.
Why would I have to sign in to Google? I'm literally already signed in. I'm looking at the sheets right now. I'm crashing out.
You're crashing out. I'll take the wheel for a second. The reason I gave this draft a really high grade is I thought and still think Marv will be a star.
Yep.
I just told you guys, like, I was way lower on Darius Robinson than them. I had him at 63. But despite that, I was high. I like the pick of Max Melton. I like the pick of Trey Benson. There was players in this draft where I was like, okay, they're going volume because Ossenfort took on a really bad roster. And that's why I'm arguing the Will Anderson trade is total hindsight by me.
Yeah,
I would have followed that process and taken the picks. But it's just funny to revisit it because sometimes analytically we get obsessed with assets, understandably, but sometimes a great player, not all the time, but sometimes a great player outweighs all of those assets. And I think Will Anderson is going to outweigh all those assets. And 98% of people probably, Will Anderson was my top player in that draft. Over all the quarterbacks in everyone. He was my number 1 player. But I probably, if I was in the GM chair, probably with the Cardinals roster, would have taken all the assets they got.
Right. Yes.
And passed on my number 1 overall player. So, like, it's hard, man. It's hard. And this goes back to them being in a brutal division where there is such little room for error. Did you get into your Gmail?
I did. Yes.
9 walls of protection.
What a boomer question to ask me. Did you sign into your Gmail?
Are you on Tampa Bay Trey at AOL.com?
Representative. So I did. I had Marvin Harrison Jr. as wide receiver 1, but then 2 spots later, I did have Malik Neighbors. So it's basically a coin flip for me. But I also had Darius Robinson at 61 overall. So we were very much of the same conversation there. So I also want to set the stage for people for what Monty Ossenfort took over in 2023. This was a spot where, let me see what where was their salary cap? Okay. So in 2023, they got rid of Steve Keim. The way that Steve Keim had the contracts for the current team, they weren't really able to spend anything in free agency. And that included having to let Byron Murphy and Zach Allen walk in free agency. I think some people look at that for Monty and be like, oh, look, Monty let those 2 guys walk. They're now good elsewhere in the NFL when the Cardinals were the ones to draft him. They didn't have the money. They couldn't do it. Monty basically had his hands tied behind his back. He's like, I can't sign either of these guys because he had $14 million to work with.
Saints would have found a way.
They always do. They always do, baby. Excuses are bricks that build monuments of nothing. Mickey Loomis said on
cap.
said as he drowned in void years. When you look at their roster after Byron Murphy and Zach Allen walk, which we mentioned, they didn't really have the ability to re-sign. It is DeAndre Hopkins, who wasn't going to be there much longer, Marquise Brown, Rondale Moore, DJ Humphries, Josh Jones, Yalda Froedholt, Will Hernandez, who are still there, and they haven't done anything with those positions, really. Kelvin Beachum, Zach Ertz, Kyler Murray, James Conner. Okay, we know a lot of those players left this team just a year or two after. And then, brother, listen to this defense. Listen to what Monty inherited. Jonathan Ledbetter, Lecky Fotu, Rashard Lawrence, Majay Sanders. These are all starters, by the way. I'm reading the starting lineup. Zaven Collins at inside linebacker, by the way, before he was an edge. Kaiser White, Cam Thomas, Antonio Hamilton, Buda Baker, Jalen Thompson, Marco Wilson, and Isaiah Simmons at the nickel. That's terrible.
Yeah.
He inherited a terrible roster with no salary cap. So all of that just to bring more context into, I'm with you. I would have traded down as well. You get the extra first round pick. You get Garrett Williams in the second round as well. I think what?
A-Dub says the Legion of Whom.
The Legion of Whom?
That's one of the best comments we've ever gotten. I couldn't contain myself.
The Legion of Whom? No.
That's really what he inherited. Oh, that's the goods. Winner. Show's over.
That's a top comment.
Hall of Fame comment.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But all of that to say, Legion of Whom included, I think Monty's done a really good job with this roster. I think this roster is capable of winning, and I think that's why we're having the conversations that we are about Jonathan Gannon and about Kyler Murray, because I think the rest of the stuff is there. Is the offensive line good? No. But if those two guys, Jonathan Gannon and Kyler Murray, looked better, and this team was even competitive within a tough division, I very much understand that. But if they were even competitive, they are this upcoming offseason away from going all in on offensive line, and this team, even in a stacked division, could legitimately be competing for the division title and for a playoff spot. And I think that's why it's so much more glaring, in my opinion, on Gannon and Kyler Murray, because I think that Monty has taken a roster that was bad and did not have a lot of flexibility right off the bat, and he has turned it into a much, 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 much more talented unit top to bottom. So yeah, I'm a Monty Austinport guy still.
I would keep him employed. For sure. He has clearly put in a scouting staff that is, it's not, they're not blowing drafts, right? They're not just like,
I don't think they are.
Player after player. And I lean as well that it doesn't feel like this staff has gotten, and injuries aside, because there's been a lot of them, but the staff hasn't gotten enough out of them as well. So it feels like Monty deserves, and if Monty wants to start over at quarterback, I think you give him that shot right now. That's another layer of this as well. So we are not moving on from the GM in this exercise. The question is going to be, is this an organization that still instills their trust in that GM and lets him go out and hire another coach?
I think so. I think that they should. I really do. You want to talk about head coach candidates?
Yeah, I mean, it's at least a conversation. This team is spiraling out of control right now.
So a lot of the head coaching options, to me, for this team look very similar to what we talked about last week with the Raiders. Like, I think that you're thinking about Clint Kubiak, Joe Brady, Chris Shula. I don't want to,
man.
I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but
No.
like, shoot, if the Bucks don't have a great year and they get rid of Todd Bowles, I want them to hire Chris Shula.
Shula's got it.
And so,
Yeah.
what we talked about for the Rams of Shula being the head coach and Mike LaFleur being his offensive coordinator. You're going to be hard pressed to find a better deal than that, honestly, from us. So like that, Jesse Minter's in this conversation as well. Anthony Campanile from Jacksonville, their defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, the defensive coordinator from the Lions, Adam Stenavich from the Green Bay Packers. A lot of that is sort of, it's the same guys. I think. Is there anyone in particular that you like the most, maybe for this Cardinals team, and then specifically offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball when it comes to the expertise? Do you care one way or the other?
No, just get the best guy to answer the last part first. But I do think they need somebody that understands the division and think about the division.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay, and I know they all have their own little wrinkles because they've all evolved in the big chair.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, and Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, all come from the same family tree of coaching and ideas and principles. And yes, they have their own wrinkles and they've evolved over the years. But the idea of Shula is that, because he's been with McVay with the Rams since 2017 in different roles, is Shula in theory will know how to counter that. So there are times where you have to make moves solely on the division you play in. And this coaching hire feels like it needs to be one geared towards competing in their division. So I think Shula would be at the top of the list. And if you wanted to go on the offensive side, then Kubiak comes into play as well. But I think Shula will be viewed more positively for a head coaching job because of his personality and the way he carries himself and all the experience he has in one place at the Rams. And that's just my take on that one.
Who said this comment? I want to make sure. Oh, Brennan saying no love for Vance Joseph. I think Vance Joseph is certainly putting himself in consideration as well. He's got the former head coaching experience. It didn't go well for him.
That doesn't fire me up. I'm just going to be honest.
And I think that might be where we're at. If you're moving on from Jonathan Gannon and you're trading Kyler, you're almost going like totally new era. Do you want just sort of like a lot of new? And I feel as though if the Cardinals are going to move on from Gannon, I just don't know if I think the point that you bring up is a really good one. If you are moving on from Jonathan Gannon, you have to look at the rest of your division. You have to look at Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDonald, three of the best head coaches in the NFL. You have to believe that this next guy is going to be in that tier. And if you think that Vance Joseph is a solid coach and he's a good coach and he's going to be fine for you, guess what? You're going to stay in third and fourth of the division because those other guys aren't going anywhere. Sean McVay's not going anywhere. Kyle Shanahan's not going anywhere. I don't think Mike McDonald's going anywhere. I think you've got to take a massive swing. Like I would be either
you got to go find the next one of those three. Sorry,
honestly, you do. So Chris Shula, or I'd say Jesse Minter too. From the way that people talk about Jesse Minter, I think those are the two guys that you're talking about here. That's who I would go with. I would go with one of those two guys.
Wilford in the chat brought up an interesting combo, but I want to explain why I didn't view it as an option. He said Saleh with McDaniel. I'm not as convinced that Mike McDaniel is getting fired anymore.
Yeah,
they're very close, those two. That would be a pairing if one existed.
I don't hate that one.
Saleh's a weird one, right? Because Saleh gets the defense, and I understand it, that like, everything was a disaster with the Jets, and he was wrapped up in it. And I don't really agree with that to a certain point. Yes, there were things out of his control with the Jets that didn't work, like Rodgers and Woody and all those things. But Saleh also was not ready to be a head coach. He was a bad in-game decision maker. He was their game planning and decision-making and everything. Like he has a long ways to go. Now, I think he'll get another chance eventually in the NFL and hopefully improves like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I would be much more inspired once again by one of the unknowns naturally.
I think this is an interesting comment by Jordan as well. How uncommon would it be for an in-division hire? I don't really know off the top of my head because, there's all those like, well, you don't trade in division.
The NFC North just did it. The Bears hired Ben Johnson.
The Bears did just hire Ben Johnson. So I guess, yeah, there is certainly precedent to do it. I don't see it as the same as like, because you can block interview. I never know like what the rules really are to block interviews,
It's usually based on promotion. You're not supposed to be able to block a promotion.
Okay.
And if
so
you
that's what it is.
Yeah. So technically, if you're an offensive coordinator like Mike LaFleur that doesn't call plays, an OC job that allows play calling is a promotion.
Okay.
Technically, there's a lot of verbiage that teams find loopholes within these things that gets convoluted, but that's typically how it goes.
Okay. All right. To be different, what if we did Kubiak for this team?
Yeah, sure.
Because I think
it's
that
the same process we just followed.
I think that Kubiak would be awesome, especially if he could bring a trusted defensive mind with him, because this defense is really, really talented. And the last thing you want to do is you don't want to let the talent on that side of the ball go to waste. But you're also going to need somebody who, if you're moving on from quarterback, which it feels like they are going to, you're going to want somebody in the building who you feel really good about to call plays for them, to have them grow, and just to make them a cornerstone of, whether it's somebody that you're drafting, you're trading for somebody, whatever that is. So let's go Clint Kubiak here for head coach. Sound good?
Yes, it does sound good. Who is a defensive coach that might get let go this year out of head coach? And no, you can't hire Jonathan Gannon to be the DC.
Yeah, that one actually.
Hey, you want to stick around?
Who's
not a long list.
Who's the guy that we just said for the Raiders? Who's been around? Who comes with the job?
Oh, we said he comes with the plays. Patrick Graham.
Patrick Graham. Shane Bowen just got fired. But again, like if you're getting fired,
oh God, Shane Bowen had a bad year with the Giants, to say the least. Raheem. Raheem.
Potentially.
I mean, and I would imagine there's some crossover. Like Kubiak would have contacts to Raheem.
Depending on how the Panthers fans, I don't mean to throw, cold water on you. Depending on how the Panthers finish this season, if you move on from Ejiro Evero, like if he has to be a scapegoat instead of Dave Canales, I think he's an option, Clint Kubiak, Ejiro Evero as a defensive coordinator.
Very possible.
I mean, Todd Bowles, maybe. If he's out in Tampa.
If Todd wants to keep coaching, just go be a DC and
I
go back to his old job. I'm not even thinking that was Todd's job before the Jets.
Yeah.
Todd was the DC in Arizona.
Yeah. So
do you think, what are the odds Todd gets let go in your Bucks mind? 60-40?
I truly don't know, man.
They're not a very
I truly don't know.
Eccentric organization. They try to operate like with a pretty level head most of the time.
They absolutely do. Yes.
So
they do. I don't know if they're going to let the injuries just be an excuse for this year or not. I don't know. It depends how they finish. Brenton saying, didn't Bowles just sign an extension? Extensions don't matter.
No, unless you're Mike Brown.
What do you mean?
The Bengals don't fire.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
That's the only place where it matters.
I think the Glazers are doing all right. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
Hey, okay. Before we get into free agency, we're going to take a look at the roster. We're going to get into a mock draft. We're going to do all that good stuff. This PFF betting segment, or NFLSC betting segment, I should say, brought to you by our friends over at DraftKings Pick 6 Turkey, which, by the way, would love to hear in the chat. Who's for and against turkey on Thanksgiving? Because it seems to be a dividing topic right now. I need to hear the addicts. I need to hear what people think about it. And we'll address it afterwards. Turkey family football can only mean one thing. Thanksgiving, people. Whether you're breaking down the game or breaking bread. See what we did there? Your takes don't need to take the day off. Turn those hot takes into cold hard cash with Pick 6, DraftKings' new fantasy pick'em game built for big wins. Here's how it works. You just pick more or less on two or more players per single stat each. And then the better picks, the bigger your payout. Simple as that. Pick Six brings you upside on those other pick'em sites cannot touch. The better you perform, the bigger your payout. And it's available in most states as well, including Texas, California, Georgia, and so much more. So while the turkey's in the oven, for some of you, which we'll get to in a second, lock in your picks and cook up some payouts of your own. If you're new to DraftKings, we got you covered. Play $5 and get 50 in Pick Six credits. Trust your read, make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick Six app now. Use the promo code PFF. This is a partnership with PFF. That's promo code PFF to play just $5 and get 50 in Pick Six credits. Make the call, ride the upside in partnership with DraftKings. Pick Six, the crown is yours. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problems. I'll get to it in a second. Help is available for problems with gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus, age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick Six not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable Pick Six credits that expire in 14 days. Ends December 2nd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at picksix.draftkings.com/promos. Were you laughing?
Yeah, I was laughing at Sauter in the comments. No full screen. Way to let Connor starve. I actually don't have an Uncrustable with me today. But that made me laugh.
I don't believe you.
I know. I wouldn't believe me either.
I think you always come. I think you always come prepared.
Armed and ready.
So Connor just starves today.
Starves. Withdrawals.
Okay, let's dig into the roster. Projected. So wait. Let's rattle through some super chats. Sorry. We got to do that. We got to get the super chats. $5. Finkel. Hello from Dublin. Miniature Bros.
What the hell?
That's next level. With Ayuk, which hey, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in from Dublin. It's awesome. You live in a wonderful city. Visited this summer. It's incredible.
Oh, man. Itching to go back.
Dude, live show in Dublin? In Dublin?
If we do an international live show, the first one, no matter what, I think would be Dublin.
It's got to be Dublin. 5 pints of Guinness in. What an incredible podcast.
Love Ireland.
With Ayuk's situation in doubt, do you see the Niners going for a wide receiver in round 1, maybe Chris Bell? No, because I feel like you drafted Ricky Pearsall to kind of be that. You have George Kittle. You feel good about Christian McCaffrey. Like, yeah, I could see them drafting a wide receiver.
Juwan Jennings is good.
Yeah, Juwan Jennings. Wait, is he a free agent? He might be a free agent.
He didn't love his contract over the summer, but...
Who does? Am I right?
That's right.
I think he's a free agent.
Just keep him.
But anyways, I think they'll address wide receiver. I don't think in round 1. I really don't.
I agree.
$2 from Mahal. For Trev, fix the Bucks.
Maybe.
Can we just give it a couple weeks, please?
That's good.
Please.
Good mindset.
Please.
Charter, thanks for the $5 super check. Can we fix the Raiders again? Maybe every week. Just got blown out by the Browns. LOL.
Hey,
we fix
Raiders
it.
fans,
listen to us.
Raiders fans, that was a clutch loss. Because now you jump the Browns in the draft order. Huge loss. You needed that one. You really
had to have it.
Mike McCarthy, 69.
Clearly the real one.
With the $5 super chat. Very clearly the real one. What's up, boys? You find me a head coaching job yet? If not, I'm just going to launch the draft simulator into the atmosphere. I agree. The stock is up for the mock draft simulator. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate all your hard work drafting every single mock draft that anybody does on the MDS.
Chubbawub 79. Goatmeyer becoming Goofmeyer, sadly. There he is. That's Chubb. Don't let him fool you with this disguise. Are those swimming goggles?
I think they are.
That's great.
Okay. Dirty Bird Nate, $5 super chat. We appreciate you. Can we please start calling this pimp my chais? Just go full shorthand.
You either get it or you don't.
Can't wait for the Falcons episode.
Pimp my chais.
Picks and spreads. Donnie saying first thing to do is ban Drew Petzing to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, not a great year for Drew Petzing.
Fan bases love nothing more than absolutely nuking their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Nobody ever likes their offensive coordinator.
They
Never.
Really don't. They really don't. It's true.
Brownie 3623, finally able to tune in to Fix Your Franchise Live. Feel like a real sex addict now. Read that one out loud, dear, at home.
You
Love
just
the work
did.
y'all do, especially Chef Cook and Peter. Go Hawks. Thank you, Brownie.
Appreciate it, Brownie. Andy Hamill, $5 super chat. Kyler Murray, 5'9" in playoff games.
Yeah. Regular season, Kyler, usually more of his dating app profile, 5'11", but definitely 5'9" in playoff games. Ruffy and Addict.
If you're 5'9", can you round up to 6 foot on the dating profile or no? Is that too much?
No.
Because I think if you're 5'10", you can get away with it.
Yeah, 5'9" and 6. Like,
I think 5'9", it's
the
too
ladies. The ladies are gonna know, and then they
They'll
don't trust
figure
you.
it out.
They don't
They'll
trust
figure
you.
it out.
You haven't even gone on a date, and as soon as you meet, they go, "Oh, he's a liar."
much. Yeah, but then
Just be who you are, fellas. You'll be fine.
that's true. Just if you're a short king, just be a short king.
Right. That's all right. Ruffy and Addict. Trade Kyler for a 6th or 7th rounder. Yikes, squirt. Chad is a little out of pocket today. I'm not gonna.
They are one. Randall, $2 super chat. Bold parlay picks for tonight. I have legs 5 and 6 of a 6-leg parlay on Bryce Young over 208.5 yards passing and over 33.5 completions.
And you've cashed 4 legs already?
Correct.
Oh, wow. You're in for a sweaty Monday.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
my God.
Yeah. I'm going to be watching the game from the bathtub because I'm going to just be sweating profusely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a pretty simple man. All I have on the game tonight is George Kittle over 4.5 receptions. So
Coward.
when you like something, you like it. Braden Jacob, the drafts from Monty are pretty solid. The real problem is that the Cardinals just can't stay healthy. Their whole team is hurt every year. Thank you for the super chat, Braden. And yeah, a lot of injuries for this team.
Jacob, $5 super chat. Drake May and Luke Goatmeyer. I'm a rare Patriots Illinois fan. Wow, you very much get this podcast then.
Yeah,
very much.
That's a really interesting combo. I'm assuming you're an alum that's from the greater New England area.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell you want to do. Maybe you just like Illinois.
Or
I've never
maybe
met
they're
anyone.
or maybe they're from Illinois and then they played for the Patriots,
You're onto something.
It could be it.
I think that's more likely. Luke is all right. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Are you guys ever going to try to fix the Browns? You've done the Jets, Giants, and Patriots twice, and not once touched the beloved factory of sadness. The problem is, full transparency, every time we're about to fix the Browns,
They win.
they win a random, you beat the Packers
They win.
today? Oh, Shador beating the Raiders isn't really shocking, but yeah, the time is coming.
Yeah, it will. We will get to the Browns this year. We promise. We haven't done the Browns feature franchise ever actually on the show. It will be coming sometime this season, I promise. Last one, $2 from Kyle. Legion of Whom shirts for NFL SE merch. That could hit. That really could hit. Okay, let's dig into the roster here for the Arizona Cardinals. So the projected starting lineup that I have here, I got Kyler in question mark at quarterback, because we'll talk about that in a second. Trey Benson at running back. They have James Conner under contract for another season, but he's coming off of his foot injury, which he has missed all but 3 games. They can save $8 million on the cap if they cut him. He's going to be 31 next year. I don't know. They have the cap space to keep him, and
he's not making that contract. They'd rework it if anything.
Yeah, but it's the last. Yeah, but it's the last year of his deal, and he's 31. What are you going to do? Extend him coming off of a foot injury?
No, he has to take a pay cut.
Oh,
yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, man, you're hurt all year. We love you. You're getting older. You're not going to be our 1A. Trey Benson was drafted to eventually be our Then they're going to cut him. They're either going to have him take a pay cut or they're going to cut him.
Yeah, I think if it's all right. So there's a reason why I only listed Trey Benson there, but potentially James Conner also in the mix. Marvin Harrison Jr., my boy Michael Wilson, who is having a hell of a season.
The last 2 weeks have been nuclear.
Monster. This podcast always believe, folks. That's why you watch NFL Stock Exchange.
Right, for the gems. Not for the hits. For the
absolute
gems.
No, of course not. That's why people watch, because they want to know the gem. Everybody could talk about hits. I got Michael Wilson out here, balling out.
Easy part of this job. Go find yourself a Roy Lopez.
Nobody can outside of what we do. Trey McBride, obviously, stud tight end. Wide receiver 3. I guess, could upgrade here. They got Greg Dortch.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's been around since
the Obama administration.
The Obama minutes. That's a great one. That is a good one. That's he's been around since the Obama administration.
It's crazy. I feel like I was watching Greg Dortch when I was in middle school. When he was in college.
They have Paris Johnson Jr. at offensive tackle, and then I have question marks for every other position. Now,
that's fair.
Yalda Froholt could still be the center next year. Isaiah Adams could be one of the guards next year, but Jonah Williams is a free agent. I don't think that Evan Brown can be a starting guard for you. Will Hernandez is also a free agent. So I think they have the ability to play 4 new offensive linemen next year. Probably not going to be all of them, but I think that's all up for grabs. Now, on the other side of things, the defense, Josh Sweat, Baron Browning, and BJ Ojulari at edge, Walter Nolan, Dalvin Tomlinson, Darius Robinson at defensive tackle / the interior D-line because they like to play an odd front as well. Mack Wilson and Cody Simon at linebacker for next year, which is it the best linebacker unit in the NFL? No, but Mack Wilson's playing a little bit better this year. Cody Simon's coming along as a rookie, so you're okay with that if you have to live with it.
Right.
Will Johnson is your CB1. You got Max Melton on the outside. Garrett Williams plays slot. Buda Baker, and then they have Jalen Thompson, who they can re-sign because he has a void year. So you could re-sign him if you want and actually get something out of the dead cap that you would have with him having a void year. Or you could just play Dadrian Taylor-Demerson, who I am a big fan of and who I think could be a starter in this league. So I'm pretty good with what's going, and that's not without even mentioning like Zaven Collins is there as well. Like I'm pretty all right. Calais Campbell, who you could bring back if he wants to play another year,
and he's still good.
I think this defense is pretty dang talented, man.
It's crazy because you look at it on paper and you feel like this should be a better unit. You really do. And Gannon was brought there to build this unit. I'm with you, Trevor. This isn't a talent. This is far from a talentless unit.
Yep.
Far from it. I mean, I wouldn't, if I was them, like, could you argue, okay, maybe we want to be better at one of the corner spots? Maybe.
Right.
Maybe another pass rusher if you're a little worried about all of those guys staying healthy because they're all a little injury prone. But it's nothing jarring. There's no jarring hole.
Right. I agree with you.
This defense should be better. It should be better.
So that brings me to like team needs. We've got quarterback, offensive tackle, guard, center, potentially, and then interior defensive line and linebacker. I mean, you could do corner, but I think you're all right with corner, to be honest with you. I think this is just a big figure out the quarterback position and the offensive line, and then the rest kind of fall after that. What do you feel about it? Or how do you feel about it?
Yeah, they need to rebuild this offensive line. And the reality is if this team can rebuild this line and control the clock a little bit more offensively with the run game, it's going to help the defense. And obviously the elephant in the room is quarterback.
People are saying that inside linebacker looks weak. I agree. Like Akeem Davis-Gaither hasn't been good for this team, but I think Cody Simon has looked okay at times with him in his rookie year. I see that like Hims is saying that they need a true Mike linebacker. Again, I agree, but I think that Mack Wilson's been better this season. So I think you'll look for a linebacker upgrade if you can make one that makes a ton of sense for this team. But I think the rest of the unit around linebacker is talented enough where you could be okay with the guys that you have going into next year if you feel like you can't fix everything, right?
Yeah.
So the cap space for the Cardinals, they have 24.2 million in effective cap space right now. That's the 16th most in the NFL, so they're right in the middle of total cap space for NFL teams. Connor, this is a very interesting part of this. They currently have 51 players under contract for 2026.
Right.
That's the most in the NFL. So they have 24.2 effective cap space, and yet 51 players are signed. You look at their free agents. Their free agent list right now is Jonah Williams, Calais Campbell, Jalen Thompson, Kelvin Beachum, Greg Dortch. Oh, Greg Dortch is a free agent. Will Hernandez, LJ Collier, Zay Jones. Jonah Williams and Jalen Thompson both have void years in 2026, totaling in $11 million on the cap. I do not think that they're bringing Jonah Williams back. He's been hurt and he hasn't been good for them. Jalen Thompson, you could bring back if you want to turn that void year into an actual contract year and get something out of it.
Right.
And then Calais Campbell, maybe you bring back him as well.
If maybe you bring back. He's still
Greg
playing
Dortch,
well
if you feel good about it. But you're not breaking the bank for any of those guys. So you'll
No.
probably have somewhere between like $15 to $20 million to spend. And that's without, any sort of restructures,
Cuts.
James Conner potentially as a cut for them. And then, of course, I think the elephant in the room is Kyler Murray. And
Without a doubt.
before we get into Kyler Murray, really quick, if they still have a decent amount of money to spend, this is the team that of the free agents that I think they should go after. To me, it's just offensive line. Like, just focus on offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker, if you want to take a chance on him, because he got the unfortunate injury history during his time with the Jets, but he's a starting caliber offensive lineman. I think you could go get him. Wyatt Teller or Joel Bitonio.
Right.
I think one of those two guys makes sense. Brett Toth has actually been playing really well for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, he's had to play it quite a bit.
Yeah, when Juergens has been out. Like, I think Brett Toth's been really good this year. John Simpson, we've mentioned before, is a potential starting caliber guard. Cade Mays and Brady Christensen, if either of those guys get out of Carolina, I think those guys could be potential starters for you at guard. Oli Udoh, if you want a backup offensive tackle here, I don't think he's starting caliber. Jermaine Illuminor, like, if you feel like, hey, we just got to kind of get somebody in free agency to be able to play that offensive tackle spot.
Illuminor, Trevor would be at the top for me.
Well, I think he's one of those guys where if the price is right and you feel good about building the rest of the offensive line, yeah, I think that he could be a starter for you.
He's been really good as a starter for the Giants, and he could legitimately play both tackle and guard.
I wonder.
I mean, obviously the Giants need to retain him, but that's not the combo right now in this show. The combo is projected free agents. Illuminor would be my number one signing for the Cardinals.
Okay, so those are the offensive linemen that I have there to potentially think about here. Now, let's get to Kyler Murray. Let's talk about Kyler Murray. So I was reading this article from Over the Cap, and here's some information on Kyler. Kyler Murray's salary cap in 2026 will be around $53 million. That's the 9th highest number in the NFL. Murray's salary in 2026 is $42.5 million, of which $36.8 is already fully guaranteed because he has like certain dates, like roster. I don't know if it's technically a roster bonus, but like on the 5th day of the new league year, the next year of his contract becomes fully guaranteed or mostly guaranteed or whatever it is. So next year, $36.8 million is already fully guaranteed. His salary is the 11th highest amongst quarterbacks in the NFL. If he's on the roster in the 5th day of the new league year, he will earn $3.0 million of his non-guaranteed salary for 2026 and also earn the $19.5 million salary, which will be guaranteed for then 2027. Because I remember, if this happens in 2026, it means the 2027 salary becomes fully guaranteed. So that 5th day trigger for this contract would be the deadline for the Cardinals to either release or potentially trade Murray. If the team releases Murray from his contract, they will take on $54.7 million in dead cap money in 2026 and a loss of about $1.5 million in overall cap room. Because remember, like, that's just the dead cap they would take on, but he also had like what you would have been paying him anyway. So the difference would have been an extra $1.5 million that would be on the cap in the red. The Cardinals don't really have salary cap issues, so that is certainly a possible outcome. The post-June 1 designation doesn't really change the cap. It only defers $7.2 million onto 2027, so it doesn't really change too much.
So you can't cut him.
You can cut him. It's just a lot of money in 1 year for a player to not be playing for you. Remember, if they cut him, the difference in what is on their books is just $1.5 million. They're paying an extra $1.5 million. But then you will have to go get a quarterback somewhere else. So you can cut him. You're just paying a lot on the cap this next season for him to not play on your team.
A lot.
Right. If they release him next March, get this. So if they release him next March, the Cardinals would pay $36.8 million cash and $54.7 million on the cap. If they kept him, see, this is the negative here, Connor. If they keep him for next year and he fails and they want to move on from him in 2027, then they would pay him $62 million in cash and have $80 million on the cap because of the way the contract is.
So structured. It is kind of now, you know what, or get off the pot.
Correct.
Oh, yes. Boy.
And then the last paragraph here is The best solution for the Cardinals would be to trade him, which would only cost them $17.9 million on the cap total. But the contract numbers make that tricky. As mentioned above, Murray's salary for the next season would be the 11th highest in the NFL, and no one would consider him anywhere near a top 10 NFL player right now.
Yeah, so these people saying, hey, the Cardinals will probably trade him. Who's the other side of that? Do they not think about that? That's you can't. There's no forced trade button in real life.
So
you'd have to totally rework the deal.
You would totally have to rework the deal. I think in the form of you would have to trade him and take on dead money. You would have to pay part of his contract, which again, the Cardinals can do part of that because they have the money to do it. The question just then becomes, what do you get back in return?
So you might be sending a pick with him.
You potentially, depending on how much money you're taking. Like they could take 30 million of that themselves and not really feel it that much because again, he's on their books anyways. If you're comparing it to he's going to be like whatever it is, like 50 some million on our books, no matter what, whether he's here, whether we cut him or whether we trade him, like whatever, you can go up in the money that you would pay off of his contract for him to go play elsewhere. So you can do that. It's just a matter of, does another team like Kyler enough for that to be the case?
Yeah.
Because if you're getting anything back in return, I don't know if it's more than like a third or a fourth round pick.
Oh, I don't think it'll be a day 2 pick.
I think it could be if you can convince a team that Kyler is still potentially
they're
the best
kicking in. They're making him really cheap for that team.
Yeah, potentially.
Obviously.
Yes.
Potentially.
Yes. So
yeah.
So here's the teams that sort of come to my mind, right? The Raiders potentially would be an option, but we just did fix your franchise and they have their own issues with Geno. So unless you are trading Geno for Kyler Murray, and you're probably at that point, you're probably getting like it's probably like Geno in a third. I have no idea. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm just kind of like maybe where the conversation starts. It's like Geno and a pick for Kyler. So if you're okay with getting Geno Smith back for next year, that's an option. Miami with Tua, if you want to trade Tua for Kyler, and at this point, you'd be getting a pick with Tua, depending on how much money you'd be taking from Kyler's contract.
That's an interesting swap.
They'd have to work out. The Steelers don't have anything. So if the Steelers think that Kyler allows them to continue to be in a winning window.
Do what they do.
Right. Basically, yeah. Do what they do.
Arthur Smith and Kyler Murray. I'll pay to watch.
The Falcons are very interesting.
Because Penix now it's a long-term injury.
Because you could potentially trade Penix for Kyler. And you could essentially say, hey, you take the risk on Michael Penix. We'll take the contract risk on Kyler Murray. And I don't know how much, money or contracts would be here and there, but like that's the one that I think intrigues me the most is the Falcons.
I never thought of that. That's fascinating. A lot of the chat, probably mostly to push my buttons, but also half seriously, is saying the Jets.
Right.
And I mean this not in a snarky way, but I think a lot of people don't realize the Jets next year are most likely paying both Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields a combined $56 million to not play for them. I don't think the Jets want to absorb more quarterback money.
Yeah. And the man, I don't know how they get out of this Kirk deal at all, though, for the Falcons. Maybe they just don't.
They haven't found a way yet.
Well, I guess you could cut him and it'd be a crap ton of dead money, but you would save money on the cap. So it would basically just be Arthur Blank flexing.
Trevor, is another risk, and I'm assuming the answer is yes, that for the team that trades for Kyler, and I see the chat's like, whoa, they didn't realize my Jets point about all the money they're carrying next year with Rodgers
Yeah.
and Fields. They have a lot of
Yeah.
cap space, but that doesn't mean they want their whole cap to be quarterback contracts.
Right.
Trevor, my question is, and I'm assuming the answer is yes. If the team that trades for Kyler, the Arizona makes it a little easy for them financially in 2026. But if Kyler gets hurt on that team, does it screw that team for 2027? I would think yes. Which is going to completely kill it's going to hurt his market because he does get hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know the injury accelerators of Kyler Murray's contract.
This is a very convoluted, cloudy situation.
It is.
I think they'll pull it off because this just happens in the NFL.
I think so too. I agree with you.
I think he's going somewhere. It's going to be very complicated.
Because I just don't know. I was talking with Dalton about this earlier because, funny enough, like he was kind of like talking about the Jets side of things, and he agrees. He's like, I don't think the Jets are going to do it.
I think it's a low hanging fruit. Like people go, oh, the Jets, like
right. But I don't think that they're going to do it.
It's not a good fit.
But what was he saying? He was saying at that point, like, why don't you think teams are just going to wait for Kyler to get cut because then they can just do whatever contract they want with him? Again,
like what happened with Russell Wilson?
Again, maybe, but it just depends how the NFL looks at Kyler Murray. Like, are there 3 teams that legit go, yeah, we can win with Kyler Murray? Because if so, you'll probably work with the Cardinals to make it happen. So you get to keep him instead of like having to bid with other teams for his services potentially. But some people in the chat are bringing up the Vikings too.
I saw a lot of that, and it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like if JJ McCarthy continues to play as bad as he is, because guys, I want to be clear. I'm not trying to be overly harsh about this. JJ McCarthy's the worst quarterback in the NFL right now.
He's on a Zach Wilson-ish trajectory at the moment.
I mean, the Browns quarterback situations and the Jets quarterback situations are not very good. But like JJ is also like not like he's a reason why the Vikings aren't winning right now.
Yeah.
I think that they will look into other quarterback options this offseason.
Yep. They absolutely will.
This would be a huge swing for them, though. I think the Falcons are more realistic, even with Kirk Cousins' contract.
I just wonder about the scare of 2027. Because I think the Falcons they are believing in Penix long term, but they now need an answer for next year.
I think that's a really, really good point by you that I did not think of is
makes the trade harder.
It makes the trade harder if he gets hurt. How much are they on the hook? Just like always. And I don't think there's an injury designation because it doesn't sound like there's an injury designation with his contract right now with him being hurt. It's just the 5th day of the new league year. Like that's the only date that matters. So.
Well, we should mock draft one with him and one without him.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Since we didn't actually land on a destination because we explained how complicated this is. But it's still, the point is we think there's a chance they get it done. And if they do, what would their draft look like? If they don't, what would their draft look like?
Somebody saying the Saints.
The Saints, no. The Saints need to stop doing this. This is like you have a friend that has really bad habits and you drive to his house and encourage the bad habits. That's not.
All right, let's pull up the mock draft simulator. Let's So I don't think the Cardinals are going to be too active because I think that they're a really talented team. And let's say they bring back Calais Campbell. So like I think the defense is good. Let's say Y'all the Froldholt is still there. Isaiah Adams is still there.
I want Jonah Williams. Luminor.
Jonah Williams is not going to be. And do you want to operate as if they're signing Jermaine Illuminor, or do you think that the Giants let him out?
I mean, I think the Giants would love to keep him, but the way he's played this year, he's going to get a massive deal, and fix your franchise is very fun if nobody's a free agent.
It's also very
sorry,
true.
Like Giants fans, you probably hope you keep him. I hope you keep him, but in this exercise, believe it or not, a player gets to the market, and the Cardinals back up the bag here.
Okay. All right. So let's do that. Let's get into.
They have their tackles then. Paris and Jermaine Illuminor are their tackles.
Yep. And you've got Y'all the Froldholt. You have Isaiah Adams if you want, but Let's get into this mock draft. Where are the Cardinals picking right now? They're currently picking 9th. Okay, so who just went? Who just went in the mock? We got any quarterbacks on the board? No, I think they're all gone, right? Fernando Mendoza's gone. Ty Simpson is gone. Dante Moore is here. I'm starting to think that Dante Moore is going to be in this class.
I'm telling you, the winds have changed.
The winds.
There's a chance is the point.
So you're telling me there's a chance. And I think with the Cardinals sitting here at number 9, there's a realistic possibility that they are indeed getting a young new quarterback here on this team. I think we should do, this is the mock that we should do. Kyler is traded or cut.
And we'll take more.
Let's do this one, and let's take Dante Moore here. I feel like that's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in all of college football. Somebody who's having a really good year. Somebody who just even as a first-year starter really understands how to go through progressions and play like a pro. I mean, there's still I think there's a little bit of arm limitations with him, but man, how he times things up, the touch passes that he has, how pinpoint accurate he could be. He's having a hell of a year. And so I think that we should do this mock draft of the 2 that we're doing with Dante Moore here for the Cardinals.
And the beauty of this, they signed Brissett to a 2-year deal. So if Dante Moore is not ready and he's a 20-year-old player that could put on some pounds and maybe need some time, Brissett can be your bridge until Moore is ready, like the Giants did with Jackson Dart.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's take Moore here. 41. Let's see. Linebacker. I mean, this could be a great spot potentially for a linebacker like CJ Allen from Georgia is here. Yeah. I think that he could be excellent for them.
That's my vote for sure.
I mean, if we wait a little bit, round 3, you could take a guy like Jacob Rodriguez, like Torian York from Texas A&M. Jacob Rodriguez is playing so well for Texas Tech right now. He's getting Heisman Trophy love.
I think I saw Lefko doing that, and I loved it.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. But
no, he's not really on the board right now of the betting markets. But he is an amazing player that deserves that kind of hype.
You know what I actually really love here is I love Austin Saravel, to be honest with you, because I think he's having a hell of a year at offensive tackle for Ohio State. And some people don't believe he's got the arm length to be able to stick and tackle. But he's a great guard, and he's like a swing tackle for you. Like if Illuminor doesn't work out,
he's an excellent guard for you that gives you tackle flexibility. I don't think Ohio State went into camp this year with all those competitions on their offensive line after Onionwa transferred there and didn't even win a job.
Yeah.
Saraveld's been amazing at tackle, but yes, his skill set and traits transition to guard. I love the call out, Trevor. Cards need a guard. He's played high-level football for the best team in the country this year. I would take either him or CJ Allen. I think they're both needs for the team.
Yeah, CJ Allen from Georgia is having a really good year, especially as a run defender. Caleb Lomu is great. Keith Abney, potentially, if you wanted a corner. I don't think they need wide receiver enough to consider, like Chris Basil or Brazel or Jacoby Lane or guys like that. People are saying like Jeremy Bernard. I think they got a Jeremy Bernard at home in Michael Wilson. Like I think they're kind of the same player. I really do. Not that you can't have too many good wide receivers, but I don't think that they need Jeremy Bernard here with this luxury pick. So let's take, if you're good with Saraveld from Ohio State, let's draft him here at 41, and we got one more pick here.
Yep, let's do that.
Okay. Now I think now's a really good time for linebacker. Like I really
I want to see that. Oh, Rodriguez made it.
Yes. Yeah. Like
him
Rodriguez.
Weeks. I would say for them, I would take Rodriguez.
I would too. Jake Galde has also been great.
I need to watch him. Yeah, Cincinnati has a lot of guys this year.
Remember the Stockwatch episode, great chin to neck ratio on Jake Galde, who
that headshot's crazy.
You see the run defense grade, the coverage grade. He's also got some decent pass rush chops to him, or at least he's got the long arms.
I'm open to this.
So
I'm open to this.
I don't hate Jake Galde. I think we should go Jacob Rodriguez because I think he's the more true inside linebacker type of player.
Yeah.
But I think any of these guys in Whit Weeks, Jake Galde and Jacob Rodriguez, I think round 3 feels like the sweet spot for the Cardinals here when it comes to linebacker. So we got some people wanting double dip O-line.
Fun draft, man.
We could. What's the O-lineman that we have here? Just to see. Ah, man, I think Carter Smith would also be awesome for this team. Chase Besantis, I think would be great. Man, now you're giving me ideas for the next.
But the nice thing is a lot of these guys you could probably still get in the 4th round.
Maybe Carter Smith, you might be able to. It depends on. I see him more as an interior player. I think he'd be a hell of a
Which they
center, to be
need.
honest with you. I don't know if if the NFL is going to
JC
view
Davis
him,
also a college tackle that will play guard.
that'll play guard. Monroe Freeling is somebody who I like from Georgia. No, let's go linebacker here. I think they need an impact player there. Let's go Jacob Rodriguez, and then let's see on this second try of a mock draft what we're doing here. So okay, so Dante Moore, Austin Saraville, Jacob Rodriguez there for our first mock, and that is with us moving on from Kyler Murray. Either somebody's trading for him, or they're just going to straight move on from him and cut him, which we feel like is the more realistic scenario. So let's open it up and do one more round here.
Now, this is the version if they keep Kyler.
If they keep Kyler, let's see.
No quarterback, because they'll have Kyler and Brissett on the roster again.
Yep.
And look at that. Dante Moore went off the board anyway.
Wow. Yeah. Ty Simpson, Fernando Mendoza. This is perfect. Yeah. Because Dante Moore, all three of those guys off the board. Ruben Bain Jr., Arvell Reese off the board. Caleb Downs off the board. Jeremiah Love off the board. Makai Lemon off the board. Let's see. Well, I took Sonny Styles at 10 in our last mock, so Lord knows I'll do it again. No, I wouldn't do that here for the Cardinals, even though I think that they could use him. If you're going to draft Sonny Styles, you're probably going to trade down. What do you think, Connor? Any leaning here with the guys who are available?
They still need wide receiver, even with what they have. I think I would just take Tyson because he's the best player.
Man.
So you have him and Michael Wilson. If you need to figure out, like, are you going to extend him or not? Because he's a free agent after next season.
Yeah, I guess that's.
If you're stuck with Kyler, you got to make sure. But this is the problem here. Like, there's nobody's coming up for this unless somebody could come up for Tyson. I take that back.
Yeah, they could.
Can we trade out of this?
Hey, you want to trade back here?
Yeah, let's have.
Who's coming up for Tyson?
The Kansas City Chiefs. Time for Brett Veach to actually be aggressive.
Yeah, or the Steelers.
Yeah, I guess. I never understand.
Okay, all right, let's trade back here. Let's go 15 to 9. I don't. Are we getting the second? I don't think we're getting the second here. That doesn't feel like a big jump.
But it is for Tyson.
Let's see what the chat's saying. Connor confirmed Chiefs fan. Alfredo Colino, Alfred Collins.
That's good.
Dr. Spangle saying I'd go Fano here.
So 15 to 9 is the equivalent of about a late second rounder.
So I don't think you're getting the second from Veach then. I think you're getting the third and like a fifth or something.
No, it'd be more than that. It would be a third and a fourth.
Okay, all right. We'll take Chicago's fourth then.
Yeah.
All right, let's try this then. Let's trade back here. Because now I'm probably taking Spencer Fano.
Yeah,
or Francis Mauigoa.
Him or Mauigoa, and I'd find. And once again, let's remind, like, Illuminor can play both positions.
Yeah.
So you can play Fano at tackle, or you can play Mauigoa at guard.
Yeah, let's go Utah offensive tackle Spencer Fano. I know he had a rough go versus the Texas Tech guys, but
we got to stop just holding on to that one game all the time.
No, well, it's tough because that's the NFL competition. You know what I'm saying?
No, it matters a lot, but I also don't want Spencer Fano to be like a UDFA because he wasn't perfect against Tech.
Yeah. Okay, now CJ Allen is here. We could go with him.
Yeah, see, now we kind of do what we were going to do last time, where I would take Allen. Because we have our line is looking a lot better.
Okay, let's take Allen.
But we do need somebody in the middle of the field that's just a total wrecking ball against the run.
Okay, let's do it. Let's take CJ Allen, the linebacker.
Now we have 2 threes.
And 2 threes here.
I love seeing Big Citrus hanging out.
I actually don't hate Big Citrus, to be honest with you.
Dalvin's not very young. He's not.
No, he's not. And
he's been okay.
And they have Calais Campbell, but
who's very old.
I kind of like Dominic Orange here. I kind of like Dominic Orange, and then man, Skylar Bell.
I saw Skylar Bell, and I got so excited.
Bro, I just got caught up on his film, man.
He's great.
The young man can run some routes.
Skylar Bell is quite good at the game.
Yeah, he really is. I kind of
and that's like your number 3 in this scenario. So you got Marv, Michael Wilson, and Skylar Bell. I like it. I like where we're going.
So we have 2 picks, right? We have 2 picks here.
Yeah.
So we already took CJ Allen. Okay, we could take Skylar Bell with one of these picks. And then what was the other one?
Big Citrus.
Oh, Big Citrus. So
I don't think Big Citrus is going to make it to us at the next pick.
I don't think so. So I would say either Big Citrus, or do you want to double dip on guard? Because I really like Chase Besantis from Texas A&M. I think he's got starting caliber ability. I really do.
I'm not opposed to that. Then we just completely renovated the offensive line.
Yeah, either him or Carter Smith, to be honest. But I like Besantis. I think he could be fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take well, just because of the MDS, and I know the MDS, let's take Skylar Bell first, because he's probably got a better chance of getting picked. So then he's your wide receiver 3. You feel pretty damn good about that. Big Citrus made it.
Damn.
Now I don't think we need him.
I mean, it's a good process having him get in there with the veterans and be ready. But it's hard.
All right, let's take a look. Hold on.
I think you got to take Big Citrus at 79.
Defensive tackle, they got Dalvin Tomlinson, Calais Campbell, who might not even be back. You do have Walter Nolan, but he was hurt at the beginning of the season. I think
just such a different player, right? Like, you need that big.
I think you might have to take
2 gapping.
Yeah, let's take Big Citrus. Let's take
Citrus. This is a great draft, by the way.
Yeah, I like this. I like this as well. I really like this as well.
I mean, look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Trade back, you get Spencer Fano, CJ Allen, Skylar Bell, and Dominique Orange, a.k.a. Big Citrus. We also had, who is it? Dante Moore.
Sarafeld.
Sarafeld, and Jacob Rodriguez. Holy cow. This is the toughest decision.
Well, we got a lot of new names into this one, which was a lot of fun. Like, we haven't taken those guys in other drafts.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. Connor's got to run. I think Connor's got to run because he's got something to do at 6:05. So we gotta get out of here. There we go. We fixed the Arizona Cardinals. Let us know which mock draft you guys like best, what you think about the Cardinals overall, some of your head coaching candidates, all that great stuff. Let us know, of course, in the comment section. We would love for you to do that. If you want to follow the show at NFLSC Show on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. If you want to follow us at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers, that's the best way to do that. Let us know which franchise you want us to fix next. Connor, anything else before we get out of here?
No, Cardinals was a good exercise. The drafts are very different. We love doing the multiple paths now on Fix Your Franchise. Shout out to 2 more super chats. Mahal, I want a president who won't pardon a stupid turkey. And Hannibal 9503, fire Gannon into Tartarus. Hell is not enough.
I shouldn't have read these.
Oh, man.
Maybe the tuxedos were actually now they're kind of effed up.
Snake. Mike Z 1998. Hey, Connor, as a fellow Jets fan, if they trade for Kyler, do we just walk off into the wilderness, never to be seen again? Also, Armand Membu, good super chat.
Nice. Love that. Hey, you know what we'll do? Connor's got to run. He's got something to do, but I'm going to wrap this up, and then I'm going to go through some of the super chats that you guys have here, so you could stay. I think, and we'll make that happen. So. Appreciate everybody watching another episode of NFL Stock Exchange. We love you guys so much. For Tyler Cook behind the glass, for Connor Rogers, I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you once again for watching, and we will see you guys for Stock Watch. That's right. It's back, folks. Coming to you on Wednesday before Thanksgiving. See you guys then.